there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I am C. Hope you're doing very, very well, and this is Weekend Chart Blast. So Fridays I try to, but sometimes it's just going to have to be sometime during the weekend. So as always, we're going to look at the price action of our favorite collectibles. Don't much care what people think. Well, I care what I think, apparently. So, but I want to look at the data and see if we can make some sense of that. So anyways, we started off with Mike Trout. So most important baseball card of our generation. No player can be worth more than Mike Trout as it stands, although Vladdy's certainly and Ohtani are certainly trying to make a push here. But with that said, as he goes, the rest of the market tends to go as well. And so the uptrend has been broken for a few weeks here, but we are seeing some nice consolidation above this zone where there hasn't been a lot of buying. And there's just been a ton of buying in this area in general. So I think what happens is people's expectations become that, this is kind of the price. If there's very few people like in here when we're like, this is not looking favorable. Very few people thought this was the price. A lot of people think this is the price, and so we just adjust our expectations up over time. So it doesn't have to come all the way down here. It just has to come to an area of recent memory. We say, oh, sure, that seems okay here. So if we look at the shorter term, we can see that the momentum is flattening out as well. And so we've had instances before with the short-term momentum attempted to cross over that longer-term momentum. Didn't quite do it, and it's kept us out of this card. Honestly, it was honestly up here, really, where we saw a couple of sales in that $8,000 to $10,000 range. We're like, that's enough. If you can get rid of it, do it. Otherwise, wait for a better area here. And it's kept us out of a lot of trouble, at least since the official sale around $5,000. But so the momentum is turning up a little bit here. It's holding onto the zone. So as long as it consolidates sideways, it can accumulate enough buyers to start to maybe push this up just a little bit here. Back into the zone, then again, you're looking at a lower price here, something closer to low to mid 2000s, but until this breaks, this is where you're at. So the PSA 10 is sitting at about 3,200, the PSA 9 sitting at 1,200, which is a little bit rich, but I think it actually dropped down into that closer to 1,000 range, which makes so there's probably a little bit more liftoff in the 10 at this point here. To the BGS 9.5, 1,700. That looks pretty interesting. The BGS 9 just over $1,000. So a lot of these look more interesting, and there's probably a reason for it. You guys know the graded stuff better than I. But with the Mike Trout, I am going to buy a graded version here in the near future. I just don't trust raw. I mean, why wouldn't you have that sucker graded at this point, right? So all right, let's keep it moving here. Mookie Betts. Again, the sell signal around that $800 level, and really coming in here in low volume was a if you can get rid of it, you do it here. But we had your compression, breakout compression, and we had a target in kind of this area here. So if we had a quick hit around 300, so that would not surprise me. So currently we're sitting on $360 as it consolidates. Momentum is starting to pick up, but the PSA 9s is sitting around $85, and so that would imply something closer to a $260, $270 PSA 10, which right now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. If this breaks, sure, it could happen in pretty short order, but maybe the 9s have some catching up to do. Well, we shall see. Vlad Guerrero, the new hotness. All right, trend is up, bottom of the range, but the momentum is rolling over a little bit here. So as these cards are lifted up, excuse me for 1 second. All right, kind of forgot where I left off here. I'm this height of professionality is what you get from this. You get what you pay for here. So momentum rolling over, bottom of the range. So we'll see what happens. If it can hold on to this, then that's all right. But if it breaks this, then you're looking at an area closer to maybe $175 or something like that. So again, $280, PSA 9 $77. So the PSA 9 is coming off of that $80 to $90 level here. So maybe the 10 is going down, or maybe the 9 has some catching up to do. So again, the risk reward is favorable in the near term. Just ready to have a quick hook if it cannot hang on to this uptrend here with that momentum starting to cross over. I favor the downside, but it hasn't happened yet. So the Chrome's kind of the same thing, sitting at the bottom of the range here. It's been spiking, respecting this all the way up here. So as long as you're traveling, the risk reward is favorable here. Just be ready to have a quick hook if that cannot hold, because there is some lower prices in store should this break here. So again, risk reward favorable for now, but manage. Well, that's what this is all about. If you're trading, if you're investing, whatever, manage your risk, and this is how you do it. So all right, let grow. Tops update. Maybe this is like the leader for now, that if the updates are ripping, then maybe that's going to drag the other ones up here. So it's at a lower price here. So maybe people are just coming to this one saying, the no number and the Chrome way too expensive. But gosh, if we can get a mint version of the update card, which counts as a rookie card, kinda. So maybe people like that. So bottom of the range and tagging it. So you look at those first two, the no number and the chrome, they're at the bottom of the range as well. Maybe we get some buyers to step in. That's why I say risk reward is favorable. But if it leaks out, as we've seen with like Juan Soto chrome and all that kind of stuff, then then it can drop pretty quick here. But again, bottom of the range, buyers have stepped in, and that's the case until it isn't. And the update throwing in the PSA 10, so got them reversed a little bit here. Went from the 9 to the 10, I guess. So again, still bottom of the range, getting a bump here. So maybe people are going to look at that update a little bit more seriously here, as it's a cheaper version of an excellent player. So all right, Shohei Ohtani, also an excellent player who does not have a cheap version for the most part. So traveling upwards here, top of the range and coming off just a little bit here. So again, you look at the price, the high price, $270. Should he be priced? You're just below that next tier of guys. You have Mike Trout, but then you have like Mookie Betts right in there. And should Ohtani be up at that level? So all the pricing is kind of relative here. So maybe people are kind of thinking, maybe not. But I mean, still a really good price. He's having a great season. He's commanding it. But I think this is our target with a 260, 270 area on it, and so there it is, coming off a little bit. But the trend is still up here, and this is the update, the hitting version, which if you're gonna hit 33 bombs in the first half of the season, even people want that hitting version. So top of the range coming off just a little bit here. So look for perhaps a move down a little bit here. You can see the buying is getting really thin in this area here, which is kind of a little bit of a topping. So it doesn't take much to push these prices around, as all these people say, oh, I'm going to unload up in this area. What a nice price. And there just aren't enough people willing to buy, and that just drops the price kind of quickly. So, but the trend, again, still up. I don't want to be too negative here or anything like that. All right, Ronald Acuna. What a bummer. Anyways, still young, still awesome, but he's not going to be in the forefront of anybody's mind for a year at least. So the momentum is starting to curl back up, but the injury changes everything. You don't know what's going on. You can see that it's getting kind of volatile in this area here. So I would say, hey, this is a really interesting spot here. Risk reward is favorable, but with the injury, I don't know what's going through people's minds on this one here. So when you look at like Soto and Vlad and Acuna, the chances of one of them getting to the Hall of Fame and they're all on the path, it's like, yeah, really good chance of all of them doing it. Looks a little bit tougher here. So risk reward is favorable, but who the heck knows at this point. All right, Fernando Tatis. All right, we kind of know what's going on. I mean, the dude gets his shoulder hurt and he's diving all over the field, and he's still awesome. So what do you do here? So he had a little bit of a buy signal. Now it's coming up on a little bit of sell signal, but with the bands nice and tight, should just mean some more sideways action as it just kind of consolidates. So the downside for now, if you manage your risk, is fairly minimal. But it's at the bottom of the range where buying has kind of stepped up. So trend is down. Want to see that break cleanly. But for now, risk reward is setting up kind of favorable, and he's on an incredible pace that doesn't look unsustainable. As we saw, people want the home runs, and this home run pace looks, it might slow a little bit, but it's not going to be a huge drop off or anything if he keeps it going here. So current price $180, PSA 9 $75. So either this is a little bit too low, or the 9 is a little bit too high, and the risk reward looks pretty favorable on that 10. So Fernando Tatis, the hitting version, yeah, that's what they want. So you can hit a bunch of bombs here. So this is the Chrome update in the PSA 10. And so you can see when we'll see what happens on this one here. Starting to leak below its longer term trend here. So it's got its compression, and it's going to break one way or another. It looks to be breaking down just a little bit. So what we saw from the Soto, and we will see from the Soto, I think I actually added that. I have that chart in every week, so I think not the Chrome every week, and I think I did the Chrome this week. That we identified this breakdown, said, all right, this may be your last chance to get out, and it dropped decently from that level. So we'll see if the same thing happens with Tatis, or if we can catch a little bit of a bid right here. So, all right. Speak of I don't want to say the devil. He's not the devil. All right. Can we stop talking about what's wrong with Juan Soto at this point, by the way? What's wrong with Soto? He's not having a great season, Juan Soto. I was prepared for this, all right? So, was looking at his numbers. I have his Fangraphs page and his Baseball Savant page up here. So 131 weighted runs created, 2.3 WAR, which puts him on pace for like a 4.5, win season. So the home runs aren't there. He's got 11 and he's on pace for, so like 20 to 25 or something like that. And his isolated power is pretty low. The dude walks more than he strikes out. He's got a 283 average. I mean, this is what he was doing in like 2019. His pace last year was insane, and that's difficult to maintain over the course of a full season. So if you were expecting that from him again, that's more of a you thing than a Juan Soto thing. If you look at his batted ball profile, as far as average exit velocity, maximum exit velocity, hard hit rate, He's in the high 90th percentile in all of them. So dude's hitting, and he's hitting to all fields. He's hitting home runs to all fields. He's spraying the ball around. And so anybody that says, what's wrong with Juan Soto, you just simply say, what's wrong with you? So, all right, there we go. So momentum is turning up at the bottom of the range here. I like Juan Soto, best left-handed hitter for the next 10 years. All right, oh, here's his chrome. All right, yeah, so same thing here. So we had your trend line in the break, and we're like, all right, this is kind of your last chance. And you can see that it continued to trend lower. So kind of the same thing as Tatis. Perhaps. I don't know how that's going to play out here. I mean, the dude's doing everything. If he can't catch a bid, I don't know who can. So, but yeah, those breakdowns, you kind of shoot first and ask questions later. So you just say, all right, I'm getting rid of this, and we'll see where the dust settles. Dust looks to be settling kind of in this area here, but again, that's how you manage your risk. All right, let's talk about correlation for just a little bit here. And top of it's cut off. I'm cutting it all off. Hold on for a second. All right, see, magic. I can do this. Editing on the fly, man. Those skills are rare. So, all right, Mike Trout, Ken Griffey Jr., Mookie Betts, Fernando Tatis. So, I'm gonna do a video on Wednesday. And whoa, what's going on? All right, 1 second. I bumped my microphone. What a shit show. All right, so anyways, next one on correlations. I hear a lot of people talking about are cards correlated to the stock market or Bitcoin or bonds or inverted treasury yields or real interest rates or all that shit. It's like, no, correlations happen from time to time. But if you're so bent on is the stock market and card market correlated, then why do you need to look at the stock market? Just look at the card market if they're perfectly correlated. So throw that aside, and cards are largely correlated. You can see that we've had spikes in modern cards, and then a dip, and they followed pretty well. And then you have some of the longer term legends that had a lot of consolidation, a spike and a downtrend. And so you have to kind of measure apples to apples on cards to each other here. But cards as an asset class are going to kind of do the same thing here. And as far as correlations, they break from time to time. Things that should be perfectly correlated. If you look at like interest rates in bonds and financial stocks and all that kind of stuff, it's like they break correlation a ton. It's rarely that they are perfectly correlated. So don't worry about the correlations on a lot of this stuff here. We'll get into it on Wednesday. I've got more things to show you on that. But yeah, as far as, if you want to say, oh, if I look at the stock market, what's going on in the card market? No, save yourself some time. Just look at the damn card market. So, all right, rant over. Let's go. All right, bring myself back to my rightful position, front and upper center here. Bo Bichette, man, wow, he's having a terrific season here. So you have your compression, your breakout. Wide changing right now is breaking down, but again, you have another compression, which the way he's going, I would favor a breakout at some point here, but who the heck knows? So this is a pretty decent price, I think, for players that have come in over the last year, and they're playing really, really well. That $40-$50 area is kind of what you would want to pay. So you look at Lou Bob and you look at Eloy. I'm trying to think of all these names in just the last couple of years, Jordan, all that kind of stuff here. It's like that's where they're at. So this is how you price things. They're kind of on a relative basis. You have to compare them to their peers. And then compare them against Mike Trout, basically, for anybody in the last couple of decades. Yeah, no one should be like wildly above, because they're all, some are better than others, but they're so far away from anything of long-term relevance that you just have to compare them to each other here. But yeah, Bo Bichette, I think that's an interesting area, and I'm looking for some of his some higher-end cards right now. If they're holding up a little bit better, but they've still trended down as well. But it's like that's a player I believe in long-term. Wando Franker. Let's go with that. So, I think a lot of people think he could be a start on there. You don't have 70, 80 grade, really an 80 grade prospect every day. So, very interesting. This could be a pretty good opportunity, but the trend is down. One of the more obvious sells in history. I think everybody and their mom had a video on Wander Franco getting called up saying sell. It's like, yeah, sure. The trick is, can you? Because there's just not that many people willing to buy up here. If everybody wants to sell, you get quickly overwhelmed, and this is where you get lower prices. So pretty controlled downtrend, bottom of the range-ish. And if you have been looking for a Wander Franco, he's at least worth a trade. So here's your risk reward, more upside than downside for the time being. But the trend is still down. But yeah, you get back up here, then you sell it again. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just because a guy is new or not on a track or something doesn't mean that you can't do something to make some money. So, all right, Julio Rodriguez, this is your next guy up here. And when he gets called up, his stuff will immediately tank as well. So I'm getting to the top end of his range here. High price around $75, low price around $30. So I would say be patient here, because that's just one sale and then one sale. And so it gets volatile like that. It does tend to reverse, but yeah, you get around $30. Maybe this is the next guy up, and you want to hang on to a version of his card if you do not have it. All right, Pete Alonso, Home run derby. There you go. Moonshot. So very little buying on here. Be patient and wait for it to come back in here. So look at the clusters, not the spikes here. So the trend remains down, and probably around that $30 area, $30-$40 or something like that. You should be able to get it. And actually on Star Stock right now, I think you can get a version of his card for $25. I was able to snag one at 20 and it went for 30 and settling in at 25. That's kind of your range there. So if you are looking for this, check out Star Stock. So Sportscard Anonymous' code is in his description on his videos. I don't have one. Go help him out. He's really struggling here. So all right, but anyways, yeah. So thin volume. Look for it to come back down. All right, unless he keeps this going in the real season and goes for another 50. Jordan Alvarez trend is down as well. So again, kind of that $30-$40 range. Is what he's sub $30, so he's a beast, but he's a DH and probably shouldn't be playing in the field. But anyways, an interesting area here. It could be a little bit more downside, and the trend is down, but your risk reward, here's your risk and here's your potential reward if he keeps lighting it up. Yeah, there it is what it is there. So okay, Michael Jordan, get into a few basketball here. The PSA 8 rookie card continues to trend down. Momentum continues to grind lower, flattening out just a little bit, but hasn't crossed over a little bit or yet. And you can see that it's just like a lot of things, and this is where cards are kind of their own asset class. Just tagging the upper end of this support zone here, and as long as it keeps doing that and goes sideways, then it will break this downtrend at some point. But if it comes back in there, then you are looking at lower prices. So for now, sideways action. So maybe there's better areas to look at. Luka Doncic, same thing, downtrend, but we had the sell come in at 1600 with a 665 price target. Honestly, that target came in much later. I had a few targets on the way down here. What I did know is the trend was down, so that's why I just kind of follow the trend. It's like it's down, so until it is, don't do it done here. So flattening out just a little bit here. So as long as it kind of hangs into the $680, $700 range, it's worth buying. If it starts to really leak below that, then you're kind of in no man's land. Oh, wait a second. Apparently I'm doing my correlation video today. Who knew? So, all right, we have LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Giannis and Doncic. And you can see that the big dogs, LeBron in the blue and Jordan in the purple, tracked each other similarly. You had your big spike decline. Gary V didn't talk about Jordan, so he didn't get the same bump that LeBron did. But then you look at the younger guys, and they had low volume stuff here, but as things got going, you can kind of see a lot of similarities in their cards as well. So again, cards are correlated to themselves for the most part. And I wouldn't put too much stock into people that are saying, hey, let's compare it to whatever crypto or anything like that. So even though I think one time I tried to make an analogy between just throwing it out there, short-term correlation between cards and crypto as well. So, but you should listen to me. So Giannis, all right, playing on one leg apparently or something like that. So gosh, the last couple of games have been exciting from what I've heard. All right, but continues to trend down, and the volume is thinning out just a little bit here. So it's been thin this whole way. So we'll see if we can get some buying to come in and hold this area. But again, the trend is down, but it's starting to compress just a little bit. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens at the end of the season, if these guys are just kind of forgotten about and it picks up again towards next season or what. But again, your risk is defined. Top of the range, here's your bottom of the range. Look for maybe a slight move lower, but if this is a card you're looking for, and again, seems starting again, valuation compared to his peers seems expensive to me. So all right, but then you got to get into like population count, stuff like that, and it's not low, so whatever, still trending down. Maybe it keeps going. So Devin Booker, we did have the I think it was the momentum or whatever, but again, said we slipped down, look for a move, and it's going to be a couple $100 south, and you're starting to get that here. So here's your support zone in this area, and it looks like it's headed towards that, and it could make it this way to the bottom. And yeah, this is, a couple $100 lower from where it was at, brings it to, and I can't even see that number here, $500 or something like that. So could happen, but yeah, that's this could accelerate just a little bit as it breaks trend. All right, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Julius Irving. So I haven't looked at this card for a while. Last time I did was up in this area, and said just leave it and look for a return to this area. And it's returning to this area. So you're at the bottom of this range here. And here's your support zone. It's tagging the top of it like everything else. So now you could probably, again, I don't think that these things rocket back up, but I think you start to attract a lot of buying. It just becomes range bound and goes sideways for a while. And so we've seen that in some other cards. Perhaps you see it in this one, but if you have been patient, you missed it here and you did the right thing, said, I'll wait for it to come back here. here you are. All right, and we'll start it off football. We got to look at some of the big dogs here, and got to look at Giovanni Carmazzi and his raw rookie card, the 2000 Skybox. And you can see that the trend is up. It's at the bottom range, getting a nice pop here. So middle of the range, not a lot to do about here. Could go a little bit higher. Doesn't have to do that with you. This is a very low volume move. Wait for it to come back just a little bit if you are interested in a Giovanni Carmazzi. So the person that hasn't had quite as much success as him, but he does have his own card, is Tom Brady for the 2000 Bowman Chrome. So the 10 is going to run you $13,000. The 9, $4,600, so roughly 3-to-1, and you're looking good on this one. BGS 9.5 is you can get that for about half of what you can on the PSA 10, and the 9 coming in about half of that one. So I don't know if there's a 3-to-1 between 9.5s and 9s. But it's cheaper than the PSA 9, and they've got better holders than BGS people do, I think. So anyways, continues to trend down, bottom of the range. So may get a little bit of a lift here, but again, here's your risk reward, and the prices are compressing, so it's showing a little bit indecision, though you do favor kind of a breakout here, but a lot of these names have broken down. But again, for now, bottom of the range, maybe there's a little bit of a bump here. But before getting wildly excited, I would like to see a breakout of here and hold. So again, we've seen plenty of cards like Mookie that have had these downward compressions and broke south and did it in a hurry. And it wouldn't surprise me to come back into an area here where there's been a lot of buying. But again, until it breaks this range, then risk reward is favorable. Peyton Manning, he's a pretty good quarterback too. Why is his stuff so cheap? Help me out here. So the 5 of you that comment, I love you, man. But comment, let me know. Let me know what's going on here. Why is Peyton so cheap? So all right, $1,800 PSA 9 to $290. So this is way off here. I think I don't even care about football cards, and I think I want to get this one here. Bottom of the range, looks like it's going to mess around here just a little bit here, but risk reward is favorable. Not that it's going to rocket back up to the top or anything like that, but what is he going to do to hurt his legacy at this point? So yeah, Peyton Manning. That's just, you can get current quarterbacks that aren't going to do anything close to what he's going to do. You can get that for like $290 for a 9. So all right, Patrick Mahomes, current quarterback that. You can get his 9 probably for right around Peyton Manning money. I don't know. So I think it actually goes for more. So $1,200 for the Donruss rated rookie, and it's near the bottom of the range here. So football cards, been in a decent decline. A lot of buying on the way down here. Maybe see some more buying step up here. So risk reward is favorable for the time being. And Joe Burrow, she'll smash all the records. In his cards, it will be worth thousands. Currently, PSA 10 sitting at $400 here. Again, a lot of accumulation in this area here, in this support zone. So the downtrend has been broken, and what you see is just some sideways action. So again, a lot of boring stuff here. I don't know that we're going to see the high flyers and these wild moves where people should come in. People are very cautious, but they are coming back into the market, which is a good sign here. Wayne Gretzky, the very, very good one. No, the great one here. So downtrend, and at the top of the range, risk reward is not favorable unless he can bust out, and we can see a couple of sales here. So hockey, it's gotten hit with everything else we might get in here. So $8,000, currently over 50% below that here. So just, again, stay away from those low volume moves. And there's decent volume in this area here, so we'll see what happens on this one. So for now, top of the range, which has led to some selling in the past here, but if it can sneak above that and hold on, you're good to go. All right, Mario Lemieux, he was also pretty good here. So bottom of the range here. So you had your a lot of buying in this area here, and a nice quick purchase on this one, and you have some purchases in this area here. So there's your rising support channel, and we'll see if we can get a little bit of lift off here and break this downtrend line. But yeah, that looks interesting enough. Alexander Ovechkin, top of the range, bottom of the range, and this has brought out the buyers in the past for a very quick hit. Not a lot of volume, so anything could happen here. If it breaks below this, then there's not a lot of people willing that remember this price here, and you can see it much lower, but that is one of the all-time greats as well. Connor McDavid, your 2021 scoring leader, sideways action here. We've looked at this for a while. It just keeps hanging on to this range here. So 3,000 on the bottom, 4,000 on the top, breaks down, $2,000, breaks up, $5,000. So it's working off its negative momentum by just going sideways here. So he's hanging in there. That's what he's doing for now here. So bottom of the range, and honestly, I would leave it alone, I suppose, at this point. So, and we'll wrap it up with Pikachu. And why wouldn't you? So best for last year. So you had your big move up here. Now you just have this giant consolidation, and it's at the bottom of the range. So a little bit of downside versus a lot of potential upside. And again, unless it goes below it, then you set up a new range where you have very little upside and a lot of potential downside. But for now, this is where buyers have stepped in, and it looks pretty darn interesting. I've taken up enough of your time. I hope everybody is doing well. Have a terrific rest of the weekend, and we will talk to you later. Bye.